We're live.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a additional Wednesday night edition of the Fightnwords Network of our Wednesday night show for a couple hours talking about the world of sports. And before we get underway tonight, I know Frank's got a dedication he wants to get in, but more importantly, just want to say the best of luck to our producer. Frank Carroll has been a little bit under the weather the last couple of weeks, which has put us down, and we certainly missed having an opportunity to not only be on the air, but also have an opportunity to talk to many of the people that listen during the course of the year. So, Frank, glad to see you're back in the saddle. Glad to see you're feeling better, and I know you got a dedication you want to hit first.
Yeah, thank you, Don. Actually, I have two dedications. One is to the ladies that work the second floor med unit at Lakewood Ranch Medical Center. They do a tremendous job. If you're ever in the area and you have to have something done, make sure that you get to the second floor because they are really a nice bunch of ladies. The other one is, and this is probably the first and last time you'll ever hear me say this. We're going to dedicate tonight's show to the United States Senate and the Congress, who voted today 99-0 to stop their paychecks during the shutdown. That's the first thing I've seen politicians do that make any sense to me whatsoever.
Well, I can't do anything but agree with that. So, we'll roll right into the world of sports and see whether we can come up with as many agreements during the course of the night. Roy Cummings, as always, joins us the first half hour. And Roy, before we start going into other sports, which hockey, of course, is your bailiwick, and a lot of things have happened in the last few weeks. But I'm going to talk about the National Football League, and Goodell now has 9 games that are going to be moved around the world, and your observations and thoughts.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Roger Goodell, I think one of his great lasting legacy is going to be how he, put the NFL on the world stage, and he continues to do it, and they continue to do it in a lot of different places. I mean, it all started, rather simply with a few games over in London, but it really expanded throughout Europe, and now we're talking about Australia, Mexico City. They probably shouldn't forget, Canada maybe, but at the end of the day, I mean, I think it's a great thing because the game is growing. You look at all the other sports guys. I mean, baseball certainly, hockey, basketball. They're all worldwide sports, really. So many players in the other sports come from, outside of U.S., even North America for that matter. It shouldn't, why shouldn't football try to do the same? Expand it, not just its fan base, but its talent pool a little bit. If they could, certainly they've tried before to develop leagues across the pond and in Europe. And if they can ever get that going a little bit more, where people are playing the game on a regular basis, they might be able to find some more talent. Because let's face it, you can certainly.
Yeah, Trev.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I hope you're all right with it, but I think I'm going to stop by tomorrow night.
Yes, it's fine.
I'm super tired. I just wanted to kind of know.
Okay, I got to get back on the air.
I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Love you, Bob.
Love you too, bud.
It's a great opportunity for the NFL to expand its scope and to show other people what they have to offer here in the United States in the NFL.
Well, in most cases, you got to get up early enough in the morning to see them. If you're the kind that lets you get up on Sunday morning at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning to see a football game, I guess that's one of the positive factors about it. Roger Henry, you're in Atlanta as always. Your thoughts on that as well?
Well, you're exactly right. And then there's also the turmoil already about the some games that have already been announced with the outlet they're going to be on television. And one of them is the Cowboys and the Giants are going to be on Prime Video instead of being on Fox. and on a big
Opening game, Roger.
opening game. I know. That's what I'm saying. The opening game on Prime Video. I don't know who thinks about stuff like this, but then you wonder why the government or the administration is talking about what the NFL does about carrying too much not carrying enough on commercial TV and too much on pay TV. But I just think that was just a slap in the face to anybody that's critical of the NFL about this. That's my opinion.
Well, there were two things I'd like to go to, just following what you're saying, Roger, and that is that two of the opening games, the Cowboys and Giants, always two of the biggest rivalries in the East, and always two of the most aggressive teams on television for people to watch. Secondly, Los Angeles and San Francisco are now in the same boat. They're going to be playing each other to start the season. So you're taking a game away from the local fans in San Francisco, LA, as well as the Cowboys and the Giants. It doesn't make sense to me. Right?
Well, hold on there. I'm pretty sure that the rules still stipulate that in the local markets you get that game on over-the-air TV. You'll still get it on your local channel.
Yeah, that's true.
If
You're
you've
right.
got an Amazon game, like we've got one scheduled for week 2, Lions and Bills on Amazon, that game will still be, it's a Thursday night game, that'll still be available in Detroit and Buffalo and their surrounding areas, their TV markets, on regular TV. So, the local fan does not get hurt really by these games that are put on Amazon or Apple TV or, wherever they're going next. But look, you guys know the answer. It's all about the money. And, networks are, I wouldn't say they're tapped out just yet. Don't think they are. Still think they got plenty of money to provide. But, if you've got the opportunity to go to, 3, major networks, plus Amazon or Netflix or, Apple or whoever it is, and get, a few more $1 million or $100 million or $1 billion out of them to, show half a dozen games or whatever. Well, you know what? It's all about making money for the owners. They want to make money. So that's where the money comes from. So it comes from TV primarily, and it's not ticket sales. And, there's some marketing money to be made, but again, that's part of the expansion as well. So the good news is that those games that are on Amazon, yes, you still get those. They're easy to find locally. They'll be on a regular television channel for you. But so many more people, and I don't know what the numbers are. But more and more people are, turning to alternative forms of network TV. They're going to Netflix and Amazon and Apple, and the good news is that I know a lot of my cable company at least is offering as part of your subscription, you can download those apps and stream those channels as well for free. So it's all part of the regular cable package. So that's a good thing. But it's just it's expansion, and the day will come when who knows? Maybe you'll see more games on Amazon and Netflix than you will on NBC. It could happen, and CBS and all the others. So we'll see where it goes, guys. But schedule being released, I've always kind of laughed at that whole thing, to be honest. Everybody can't wait to find out, where the game's going to be played and when. It's like you can look at the schedule and you know exactly who they're going to play. It's really just a matter of when. But it's not too hard to figure out. Somewhere between September and January 1st, the games you want to see are going to be on. Most people are carving out those weekend days anyway. So I always kind of found it kind of funny how much controversy there is about the number of games that are headed where they're going to be being leaked and everything out like that. It's like, who cares? Just put it all out at once, and as soon as you got it, put it out.
Well, you got it now. You know where they're going to be now. And the other thing is that, as we were lucky in the early days, for those folks that don't remember when there was only one NFL game on at a time, and you didn't get a chance to see it. For instance, if the Giants were playing at home, they couldn't otherwise, or the Eagles or so forth. But we on the Jersey Shore, when I'm not in Florida, we have the good luck of getting the best of both worlds. We get Philadelphia, so if the game is on Prism or one of the others, we get it from Philadelphia. And if it's on Flagstaff in New York, we get it from New York. So we're lucky enough that it's not going to affect us for the big games, but the rest of the country is going to have to go to one of the off channels. Well, let's go to the baseball. Yankees have another loss today, and not only from a standpoint of runs scored, Baltimore beat the Bailey in Baltimore after a real good game in the first game of the series. A terrible game last night. Baltimore overwhelmed today, and the Yankees lose another pitcher. Elbow problems, and so the Yankees, who had lost 4 in a row, and 3 of those 4 one-run games on the road, and then one last night to break the 4-game losing streak. Fortunately against Baltimore, but then come back today and get blown out by Baltimore, which is a surprise to me. Roger?
Well, I just want to say one thing about TV and baseball. It was great over the weekend. I think I mentioned previously on a previous show that over it used to be the CBS station, and now they're independent because there was this other UHF station, Channel 69, that was owned by CBS for years, but it was just a non-player, and except for probably some CBS some broadcasts of some of their content, probably still is. But anyway, WANF does a great job, news, sports, everything. But they also have been broadcasting a number of Braves games. And to my delight, they had the Braves and the Dodgers several times over the weekend, over the air TV. So because I do not get the service that they're using now, well, you have to buy it because it's streamed. Braves, just like the Phillies, you can also stream, but there you can get it on NBC Philadelphia. So, it's in every aspect of sports, but I just thought that, but I'll tell you, Roy, hockey's the best. They have all those great playoff games on TNT or ESPN.
Well, that's where I was going next, because Roy, for those folks that don't listen week in and week out, Roy, of course, covered the Lightning from the day one when it came down to Tampa, Florida, and unfortunately, Tampa did not have the success that the Coop would like to have had. A little bit disappointing in Tampa this year when you got to round number 2, Roy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it's there's a lot of there's some talk around Tampa about where is this team headed. It's hard to know really. I mean, look, they're not going to move John Cooper. That's not happening. But yeah, I would say in any other NHL market, if you made the playoffs 4 years in a row and got knocked out in the first round, the coach would be fired. There would be a coaching change. Because that's just not good enough. John Cooper, having helped this team win a couple of cups, is not going to go anywhere. He's arguably the best coach in the league. The Lightning are not going to let that happen. They're not going to move him. But the Lightning are in a tough spot. They're, much like Edmonton, they are a team that is elite. They should be. They're good enough. You think, and you look at it on paper. You look at it, live in person, and you think that, well, this is a team that's good enough to go to the Stanley Cup Finals, and yet here they are for the 4th year in a row, knocked out in the first round. So there's a couple of teams, as good as the NHL playoffs have been, and they've been exceptional, guys, as Roger alluded to, they've been really, really good. The games are almost all close, unlike the NBA games. The excitement level is ridiculous. Guys laying out, blocking pucks. Goaltending's been fabulous all throughout, but and there's a lot of new teams that a lot of people we haven't seen in a while. Buffalo Flyers were in this year, until they got knocked out by Carolina, Minnesota. So it's really an interesting. Anaheim is another one that's new. I haven't seen them in a while, so that's real interesting too. But a lot is going on in the NHL off the ice, Toronto just fired their coach. They brought in a general manager that there's all kinds of questions about whether that's the right call in that market. And so it's really an interesting time in the NHL. I mean, the game's taking precedent, and they should, and they're exceptional. But there's a lot going on off the field, I would say off the ice as well, in some of the biggest markets, including Tampa and Edmonton, Toronto, and so it's really an interesting time in the NHL. If you could pay attention to the league, there's no shortage of news out there, that's for sure.
Well, yes, first of all, look at Carolina, because look what they did in the opening series, and then they just took the Lady out of the picture. I mean, you just don't expect a team like the Lady to lose that consecutively. Now, I agree with you, there were a lot of great games in the fact that they went overtime, but they lost in a shootout. But at the same time, very competitive, but yet not effective on a home ice advantage where you possibly could win a game. To go down 4-0 is not what you want to do.
Well, I think you're talking about Carolina played the Flyers and knocked them out in 4. The Lightning lost to Montreal in Game 7. And look, Montreal, proving to be a really formidable team right now.
Right.
And as is Carolina. And I don't know. We'll see. It's still to be determined who Carolina is going to face, whether it's Buffalo or Montreal, two kind of upstarts there. But still, Carolina they're about as perfect a team as there is. Very similar to Colorado. And I think if we saw a Colorado-Carolina championship game or Stanley Cup final, that would be exceptional. So some really, really good hockey there. But Carolina, they've helped themselves immensely by winning their first 2 series in 4 games each. They're kind of sitting around now waiting for the next team to come through and hoping that they don't get stale in the process. But you know what? Kudos to the Flyers for putting together a really solid team this year, a young team that's got a long, I think, a really interesting future ahead of them here with some of the young guys that they've brought in. And that team's not finished in any way in terms of, being rebuilt. There's still a lot to be done there, and it's going to continue. And that team really showed well, making it to the playoffs and then going around. There's no shame in being knocked out in 4 games against Carolina, that's for sure. Not for a team as young as Philadelphia. And you heard Rick Tocchet talk about it. When they got into some penalty situations, the Flyers right now are a team they're not built for falling behind, playing a lot on the penalty kill, and trying to catch up to an elite.
Oh, the penalty kill really killed them. I mean, they lost. Yeah. They gave up goals when they had a man advantage. It really hurt them. I mean,
it did. But again, it's a very, very young team, and they'll get better. This is a learning experience for the Flyers, and I think that I think there's a new era of Flyers hockey that's begun this year in Philly, and I think it's going to be really good going forward. Again, as I said, they're a couple of drafts away from probably being where they want to be. A couple of additions need to be made in the off season, but they'll make them. That's for sure. And the fans are back, and you got a great atmosphere at the games there now, and they'll just build on what they did this year. It's a big step forward for them.
We'll talk to Tom O'Main in the next half hour, and he covers all the Flyer games, and we've had him on many times during the course of the season and into the playoffs, and he'll join us. Roger, some of your thoughts on that? I'll tell you, just to throw this out, I thought that the most interesting team so far to watch has been Buffalo. The games have been great. They're an underdog. Their fans are so much into it. I've just watched all the Buffalo games, and it's just so enjoyable to sit there for 2.5, 3 hours and watch them play. Roger?
Well, I agree. I mean, those games have been tremendous. And like Roy said, Canadians are a really interesting team and really a lot better than I thought they were, because I didn't get to see many Montreal games during the season. But I just think like Roy, like you said, the fans are back, and in the center, or the Xfinity Arena, I guess it's called now. But it was great to see that, and the way that the fans cheered the team. And Rick Toggett talked about that a lot, and the players, and they were saluting the fans. So it's great to see that back in Philadelphia because, you know, Don and I saw it for so many years, 17,077 full house at the Spectrum, and you know, it's just good. I mean, but I think that throughout the NHL, the playoffs, I think they've been really great games to watch. I know I've enjoyed it, and if I can sit and watch a game for 2.5, 3 hours straight, that's my attention span, because I go to bed early, not to stay up too late.
Well, it's so good. Don't keep you from getting sleep, that's for sure. I mean, I've lost several hours already, and I'll probably lose more because the games are just that good. And you almost feel like if you don't watch this, you're missing out on something special. And it's been that good. So, and you're right about Buffalo, by the way, Roger. That really is an exceptional team to watch. Look, they got their hands full against Montreal, but at the end of the day, I mean, let's not forget, Buffalo's a team that, you know, something happened during the Olympic break with that team. They suddenly found their way, and they came out after the Olympic break and were just on fire, and they you know, they haven't lost the fuel's still there. So you know, they're not a perfect team either. They're kind of running on adrenaline right now. A young team that, again, the playoff experience is all new to them, much like it is with the young Flyers players. But you know, they're giving it everything they got, and it's turned into a tremendous series with them in Montreal. And again, whoever you know, faces Carolina in that conference championship, it's going to be really good. And I think they'll give Carolina. I think both teams can give Carolina fits. I'm not sure if they can beat them, but I think they can both give Carolina fits.
Fellas, I got to turn quickly. We got about 10 minutes to go with Roy. On the baseball front, who would expect the Rays to be in first place in the American League East? The Yankees lost again today. So regardless of what happens with the Rays tonight, they're going to be there in first place in the American League East halfway through the second month of the season, Roy.
I'll tell you what, I certainly didn't expect it. I thought this was the year when the way the Rays, you know, kind of, you know, put their team together and the way they build their team and they'll allow, you know, their best players to get away. I thought this was the year that was going to catch up to them a little bit. And boy, oh boy, was I wrong. They're just playing exceptional baseball. And, you know, it looked a little, it didn't look so good early on. Obviously, bullpen wasn't very good. They weren't getting a lot of clutch hitting, but all of a sudden, everybody's gotten hot. You know, everywhere throughout the lineup, pitching staff, the bullpen, you know, the defense is back. That was a problem early on. They weren't playing very good defense, but now they're starting to play. You know, they're starting to save runs again. And they're just playing darn good baseball, and you know, and they're beating up on everybody in the East. I mean, they've only lost one game against the East. And you know, what's interesting is when the Rays were struggling, they were playing. They're all done. They played all their games now against the National League Central. You know, the Cubs, the Cardinals. That's who they started off against. Cubs, Cardinals, Reds, Pirates. That's who they played. And, you know, so that didn't work out so well for them. But they get back into the East against the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Blue Jays, and they're dominant. So that's what's fueled their run is they found a way to excel against the teams they really need to beat more than any, and it's been great for them. So they're a really interesting team once again. I mean, you know, most people couldn't name 3 players on that team. Even if you're into fantasy baseball or you're a diehard baseball fan, but you're going to know them soon enough because they are an elite team as well.
It's like Minnesota. It's like Minnesota's been for the last few years. And even against the Yankees, they swept the Yankees when they were at.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Hey, Frank. How you feeling?
Doing great, thank you.
Good to hear. Good to
Thanks
hear.
for asking.
No problem.
I'll put your mic live and bring you right in.
For the Phillies, and once again, Pittsburgh Phillies won, and the Red Sox won, and Roger Schwarber's hitting home runs, but the Phillies just can't seem to put it together.
No, they can't, but at least they're only 2 under 500, which has brought them back. They have a long way to go because I think the Braves are just a real powerhouse. They're so deep. They're so deep. And we have to say, I want to say, maybe Justin Crawford is the real thing because he hit his second home run in a few days, that one run tonight. I just want to say a couple things. The Braves family lost two really instrumental people, gentlemen in their history, and that was Ted Turner and also Bobby Cox within the last few days. And Bobby Cox, one of the real great managers, I think, in baseball over many, many years. They won that one championship, but he just, had them in the playoffs, winning pennants, etc. And of course, what Ted Turner talk about instrumental in broadcasting. Look at what he did with the Superstation and the Braves games. I mean, many years ago. And of course, now it's just a local station, Peachtree TV. But Atlanta's lost two really great baseball people, and we let them rest in peace.
Of course, Ted Turner started CNN, All News. That was his claim to fame, and gratefully so, as well as taking over the Super Channel when he first started out, Super 17, and he did a great job there. And also, for those people that watch the old-time movies, he started that channel as well, and he accumulated so many of the great movies that they show night in and night out. So, Roy, I got to say, he was an unusual individual, bipolar, they said. I don't know that much about it, but and of course, he was an individual that really was concerned about the environment.
Yeah, he was a great man, no question about it. Obviously, an entrepreneur and a media mogul. I got to say, if it's not for Ted Turner, are we seeing sports the way we see them now? Do we have these packages where you can watch all the games anytime you want? Maybe it comes along at some point anyway, but he really